Hey there. My name is Kellen Chen. I'm a fifth-year PhD student at the University of Virginia. I study biomedical engineering, and I'm in Jeff Holmes's cardiac biomechanics group. My specific research topic is looking at how the mechanical environment can improve wound healing in mechanically loaded tissues such as the heart or tendon. Back there behind me is the rotunda. It is one of our main buildings that Thomas Jefferson helped to build when he created the school. And right now we're preparing for our lighting of the lawn ceremony, in which we are hooking up lights everywhere, and we're going to have the holiday season upon us. This is my video response to the questions for my application of attend the GapSummit 2018. So the first question in the application is, why do you want to attend the GapSummit 2018, and what would you bring to the conference? I'd like to attend the conference because I think it is a great opportunity to bring together a bunch of like-minded individuals from a bunch of diverse backgrounds. These would all be individuals interested in the biotech world and how biotech is growing throughout and into the future. And I would be with all these new young leaders and be able to meet with them, talk about new ideas with them, and also listen to a bunch of fantastic talks by all of the wonderful speakers at the conference. What I could specifically bring to the conference is I think that I have a specific background where I'm coming as a student, but since I've been here at UVA getting my PhD, I haven't been just focusing on that. I've been doing my best to branch out and learn about all the different avenues and all the important factors that are necessary when you enter the biotech world in industry. And I think that this would be, attending this conference would give me a great opportunity to synthesize all of this information, develop my own new concrete ideas. I think it gives me a good background in which I can ask the important questions to the speakers and to other people who are at the conference. So for example, other than doing just my research, I've been working really hard to get involved with a variety of other avenues, some of which you can see on my CV, but for example, one is I've been working with the Innovations Lab at the Darden Business School. So this is the iLab. It works as an incubator for new startups in Charlottesville, Virginia. I've worked with some of the founders there. So one is Dr. David Tuvey. He works at the iLab, and I first met him when I visited there to try and learn more about the business and entrepreneurial processes behind starting a startup. I've taken a seminar class with him. I've gotten involved by becoming a reviewer for the Entrepreneurship Cup. Through David, I've met many different startup company founders and many different people, all of whom have a great insight on how we can better research in the academic world to help influence research in the industry world. Now, since I've been in school this entire time, and I've tried to learn as much as I can about all these factors, but it'd be great to attend this summit for me to help bring all of this information together and prepare myself for the next steps after I graduate and move on into the working world. So the second question on the application asks us, what is one of the biggest strengths of the bioeconomy in your country, and what do you think is holding it back? So one of the biggest strengths in the USA, I think, is the capitalization of healthcare. I think this is important because it allows multiple companies and academic researchers to all focus. If they're all focusing on one disease, they can all come at it from different ways. They can build medical devices to combat heart disease. They can try and do gene therapy. They can try and do injections or different surgical implantations. You can come at the problem from multiple different ways, and the fact that these can all be in the market after FDA approval allows us to have competition between these different alternatives that will help keep prices down and improve efficiency and overall safety of these devices. So in the end, I think for a lot of end-stage diseases, this capitalization really allows us to create the cheapest options that also provide the best benefit and the best help and are the best scientific way to approach each individual problem. With that being said, one of the biggest things that's holding us back, I think, is the fact that we are focusing a lot on these end-stage diseases. So in heart failure and heart research, where I've been able to see a lot of different procedures and do a lot of my research in, I know that we have a lot of really good devices and treatments for things such as transcatheter aortic valve replacement or treating atrial fibrillation with catheters that help to ablate the atrium. Those are all highly advanced technologies where there's competition between different companies that create good, affordable solutions. However, one of the best ways to treat heart disease really is more preventative. So preventative medicine in all stages of disease is is really where we should be focusing our efforts on. However, the ability to make money off of preventative measures seems to be difficult, and that seems to be making the financial incentive a lot less for companies that are thinking about creating preventative medicine. So the third question on the application asks us to address one of the 7 gaps in biotechnology and discuss a potential solution to it. The gap I've chosen is the hurdle that you see that you need to overcome when you're going from academia into industry. So this has been a challenge because the goals that you have when you're trying to do good PhD research some usually don't align with the goals that you have when you're working in industry. So in academia, you are working off of grant money that was awarded usually to your advisor, sometimes to yourself, and this grant money is usually obtained after having a proposal in which you propose to do good basic science research or good research, and your research then has to match what you proposed in the information. So if you join as a graduate student and your advisor already has this grant money for a specific project, usually that's kind of what you're stuck with. And while you're working on this project, a lot of times what you're really focusing on is developing those hard skills needed to do the project in a great way. However, what's missed is some of the softer skills that are then more important for industry. Unless you're extremely lucky, your new job, either a government job or at private industry, the skills you're using, the hard skills you're using, will not directly match your thesis work. That's just very unlikely. And instead, what's instead supposed to be valued is the fact that people who are postgraduate should be able to have a good foundation of how to learn quickly and efficiently. We should be able to come out, see a new project, learn about the details, learn about all of the different techniques we might need to do, and then learn them quickly and efficiently and enact them so that we can produce results. These are the skills that we should be selling and should be developing, especially if we want to work in industry in the future. And other things that are missed are critical soft skills that people in industry value, such as external communication skills, time management skills, and working in a team. These are skills that can be useful in your graduate career, but are really not emphasized at all. My proposed solution to this is basically to try and align those values a little bit closer, try and bring some of those industry values that we know are important, bring them into the academic world. So one way I've thought about how we could do this is we could actually have either government-funded grants or even grants that are funded by private companies, in which we have a sum of money that we can use to sponsor a student or a set of students at a university. These students would basically function as normal graduate students. We would still be in the lab with our advisor, but the money would be coming from these grants that are focused on industry development or these companies, and they would be full 5 or 6 year grants that would allow the student to complete their entire graduate career. So from there, the student would still get advised by their advisor, but their project goals would already be a little bit more aligned with a project you might see in industry. And I'm proposing that the student would also then be joint advised by both their normal advisor and also a representative of industry. So either that could be someone coming from industry that is willing to meet with these students and act as an academic advisor to them, that will then stress all the important skills needed for industry. Or some schools also have certain professors or teaching professors that are really interested in this translational aspect and have more of an industry background, and they could then take on this additional role of being a joint advisor. So these students would go through their career, their academic graduate careers, still completing research, still learning those hard skills of how to complete their specific job, but they would also have this additional emphasis on how do you learn how to learn, how do you communicate better, how do you work in teams. And we could also have the students in the program work together, maybe work on hypothetical situations where they could practice some of these skills more. And I think that would really help prepare students, and they could come out, they would graduate and have their degrees, they would have all the necessary skills that you usually have out of someone who's postgraduate, but they would have these additional skills that would be important. And this solution is really just a first step, because you always have to take the first step slowly. I would imagine that over time, as this evolves and gets better and gets more funding and more interest from companies, you could then have more and more students enter the program. You could design classes that could emphasize these specific skills that are necessary, and overall just continue to evolve the system. So basically just replacing the old academic grant system with some grants that are funded by companies or government agencies interested in developing those skills needed for industry. So those are my 3 answers to my application for the GapSummit 2018. For whoever's watching this, thank you very much for your time to watch this video, to consider my application and look through everything. I really would like to attend, and I think it would be a great opportunity both for my own development, and I think as I develop, I would be a great fit for all of these new future leaders and speakers and invited people at the conference. So if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me, and I hope I can hear back from everybody soon. Thank you.